Hey everyone, Takee here with my pupsto Wakame. Welcome. And today we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, No Going Back of Telltale Games. I played on the iPad, which I think is convenient. However, the only downside is I get the game about 2 days later than a lot of you guys. So if you are in here, I hope you enjoy this, and I'm letting you know right now that there are going to be tons of spoilers. So, if you have not yet played The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, I recommend you step out, you play it, and then you come back and watch the video. Okay, so how I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to let you guys know what my choices were, and then I'll tell you my positives and my negatives, and boom. And I will hopefully hear some comments down below and let me know what you think, what you disagree, and all that stuff. What you disagree with or agree with. All right, so my choices for episode 5, No Going Back. The first one, which entails selflessness, was whether I protected the baby or not. And that was at the beginning of the scene where she's deciding, where you play Clementine and you're deciding whether you want to go get the baby or you want to go hide away from the Russian people. I chose to protect the baby, and my reasoning for that was because I feel that I've been mightily influenced by a lot of the zombie slash apocalypse slash undead games and slash TV shows slash movies, where a lot of times youth is very important, and a lot of times you want to save the youth because that's a sign of hope. And I know Clementine's young, but it was nice to have AJ be born and have that sense of hope when you're playing the game. So, of course, AJ was very important, and I decided to save the kid, along with 84.2% of players up to now. The next one it shows risk, and it says when to help Luke. You and 49.3% of players tried to help Luke. So I see that I am slightly in the lower end where most people decided not to help Luke. And I'm going to tell you something about this. This is the scene where Luke cracked through the ice pond, and you can decide whether you want to shoot the zombies and help try to see if he can free himself, or if you want to go out and help him. I made the mistake. I'm going to call it a mistake because I regretted choosing my choice, which was to go help Luke. I actually did something bad. I exited, and I hoped that my game didn't save up to that point so I can go back and make the other choice. However, it was too late, so I lost Luke in trying to save him. I'm not quite sure what the other way would have been, if he would have been saved or not. It would have been great. He was kind of like one of my favorite characters. You got to bond with him. I really enjoyed the campfire scene in this episode because, you get more emotion out of Luke, and, even more from Jane, and then even from Bonnie, how she has a crush on Luke, this weird love triangle. It's a lot of good stuff going on. Anyway, that was the campfire scene, which was awesome. But I decided to help Luke, and consequentially, I hope that it didn't cost him his life because I was an extra weight that caused the ice to break. But he did save me at the last minute. So, Luke, rest in peace. All right, loyalty asked to leave with Mike. I am in the high bunch over here. Me, as well as 94.1% of players, didn't ask to leave with Mike. Hell no. I thought the moment that he did that with Bonnie, I knew for a fact that I couldn't trust him. At least for me, I couldn't imagine wanting to leave with him. And if you want a quick recap, Mike is the dude who he saves the Russian kid along with Bonnie and tries to steal this truck that Kenny manages to jumpstart. So really, I thought we were all a team, and no, Mike decides in the middle of the night to leave me, aka Clementine, with Bonnie and this Russian kid who tried to kill us. I just didn't get the logic. So no way in hell would I want to leave with Mike. I'd rather leave with crazy Kenny and crazy Jane. All right, and stay with AJ as well, the baby. Survivalism. Shot Kenny. This was a hard one for me because I was really conflicted because I really started to get really fond of Jane. I think she's a great character. She's strong and she's not, she's a good presence on this season too. And Kenny, at the same time, he's been around since season one. He's my longest and oldest friend. But in the end, I shot Kenny. I did. And I'm going to tell you the truth again. I went back and I kind of regretted my decision and I wanted to see how I would feel if I turned away and didn't, and I let Kenny stab Jane. But in the end, I just felt like it was the best decision to shoot Kenny because Kenny ultimately says that Clementine made the right choice because he was going kind of mad. So after that whole situation, we go basically back to almost where we started in season 2, episode 2 or something like that. And I'm with Jane because I chose to forgive her after she pretty much made me shoot Kenny. And you don't have to choose that, but I did choose that. And in the end, I end up with Jane, and I have a final decision to make whether to turn a family down or allow them into my humble home, which we all know could be very dangerous. And I personally didn't have the heart to not let them in. And when I let them in, the girl gave Jane a great old hug, and hopefully it works out for the best. Although the father did give a really weird, look at a really quick look. So that kind of made me nervous. So I guess we'll have to wait till season 3 to see how this plays out. But me and only 36% of players allowed Jane and the family to be where you guys ended up, which is quite interesting because I know that if you end up saving Kenny, Jane dies, and you go with Kenny basically to Wellington. I think that was what it was called, and basically where Kenny was wanting to go since season 1. And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not taking any more people. You gotta, no way, no how." And then Kenny lays out an offer. Well, please at least take the baby and Clementine. So those are tough. So I'm just quite curious to see how all this ends up for going in season 3, which was announced that season 3 is definitely going to happen. Thank goodness. So I'm quite curious to know how that's going to pan out, because there were so many choices to make, especially in this last episode. I felt like the choices you made from episode 1 all the way through episode 4 weren't as pivotal as these choices that you had to make in this particular episode. So I'm curious to see how it pans out. And actually, for the first time in playing a Telltale game, I felt inclined to go back and restart and maybe have another save slot to see what my other choices would have where my other choices would have taken me. That being said, quick positives and negatives. The positives was this is again my favorite episode of season 2. I thought it was really high impact. There was a lot of emotions involved. I really got to know certain characters. Like I said, I really started growing fond of Luke. I grew fond of Jane, and I felt stronger because I'm kind of a softie when it comes to these choices. I'm usually the one that makes all the choices that kind of don't harm people, or I'm the Switzerland, the PC person. But in this episode, I didn't trust the Peruski, and I kept saying no, why are we trusting him? And I was right. And then obviously they surprised us with he shot me. And that's another positive. Another positive is that there was that flashback with Lee and baby Clementine, and the little Clementine's voice, a.k.a. The little toad in The Wolf Among Us. But that was a really good part. And for a second there, I really thought, wow, what if everything was a dream? And they totally fucking did that to us the whole entire time. They fucked with our minds. I was in shock. I know it's silly of me, but I was like, this would be epic if this was real. Like, this would be epic if suddenly Clementine was young again. But that didn't happen, and I was okay with that too, obviously. But I mean, if that happened for me. Um, so that was a positive because I really liked Lee, and it was nice to feel that bonding moment with Lee and see a younger Clementine with her innocence. And it reminds you of how much Clementine has evolved, how much she's changed from this girl who didn't know how to do anything to a girl who actually, these adults kind of rely on her to make these decisions. So, I loved that scene. That's a huge positive. Um, Overall, like, I just think that this episode was sick. It had a lot of action and a lot of heart. Like I said, the campfire scene was phenomenal, and the end with Kenny and Jane fighting. Really, I thought that was probably one of the most intense scenes of the whole entire season. And maybe it's because we have to wait a couple months in every interim, but that's just how I felt. Negatives, because I'm going to move on to the negatives of The Walking Dead, and this applies to all of them, is that we do have to wait for those 12 months. I played The Walking Dead Season 1 along with 400 Days, or 400 Seasons, I forget what they're called, all together in a clump, and I think I killed those in 3 days. Whereas this, I killed Season 2 in like, what, 8 months, and I don't like waiting that long. I like the progression of kind of reading a comic book and you're interacting with the comic book. So that being said, I'm gonna try to have the patience when season 3 comes to wait so I can play it all together at once. I probably won't be doing that because I don't have the patience, and yeah, that's kind of my big negative. I felt like ultimately season 2 was great. There was a little lull here and there, but it was not little, but it was more intense in a different manner, if I recall, because I haven't played season 1 in a long time. But ultimately, I highly recommend playing The Walking Dead season 1 and 2, as well as the 400 Days, which I believe Bonnie is actually one of the characters in that, so that's kind of cool. Um, so yeah, tell me what you thought about The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, or any of the seasons or episodes that you played. Let me know your thoughts. And also let me know what other games you would like me to review, because I would have a lot of fun doing these for you and for me and for Wakame, which she left the building. She's eating a pig ear or something. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. Game on, and I will catch you next time. Bye.